How are you doing?
A wonderful morning to you, Meetu. Doing very well. Glad to be on your show as always. Wednesday morning with your business matters. I think we say this every Wednesday. And I'm glad to be here and to be able to answer questions for the community. And especially, I know we have a lot of immigration-related questions, and most questions, all questions are welcome here. At this point, I think we've just been waiting to see. There has been the executive order from President Trump on 27th of January, and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is reviewing to see if that ban should be restrained or the restraining order from that ban should be lifted. So we're just going to be waiting to get some news, and that will both or give us an idea as to what's going to happen over the next few years when we go over some immigration changes or reforms, and they do get contested by either states or individuals that are being impacted.
All right, absolutely. A lot of chaos and confusion that is going on at that front. Well, let's start taking calls on air. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. All right, going to our first caller. Looks like we just dropped. Okay, I think Pallavi got disconnected. So let's give you the number in the studio once again, and you guys hang in there. We will be back with Pallavi in just a bit.
Hi, this is Babu.
Yes, hi, Babu.
Hi, I have a question. I've recently joined in a full-time company on EAD, and recently my H1B also got approved on January 20th, and the thing is, the question is because the full-time company is running my payroll and everything with my EAD, and they need an H1B approval copy actually. But I was checking with a private consulting firm regarding that H1B approval copy. That package got returned to the USCIS. Takes like almost 2 weeks for them to provide this copy. So what is my status currently working with the full-time company? Shall I continue with that? Or
So a few things that I'll have to understand from you.
Yep.
To know what status gives you the EAD? Is that an OPT?
My EAD is valid till February 2018 now.
Yeah, no, but what status is it coming from, sir? Is it from an F1? You said it is from an F1, correct?
H4, I said.
An H4 EAD. And then you've had a change of status that got approved with the same employer, you're saying?
Not same employer, different employer. That is also approved on January 20th.
Yeah, so if it was a change of status from an H4 to H1B, that changed your status to the other employer on the H1B, then you should be working for that employer and not with this employer for whom you're working with this EAD. So that's what we have to understand, that what a change of status applies for. If a change of status was applied for from an H4 to an H1, then that has overridden your H4 EAD. At this point, you may not have the EAD to be able to continue to work for the employer that you're working with.
So what do I do?
You'll have to look at the approval notice or the petition the way it was requested, and if it was done for a change of status, then you may no longer be allowed to work on the H4.
Okay, so do I need to resign immediately to full-time company? But still full-time company I don't need to transfer, but they need an approval copy for the transfer.
Okay, so if they are, and that will have to pull from that employer. So
but
the employer
the status is showing in USCIS case status is showing like the package got returned to the USCIS, so it will take at least 2 weeks. So meanwhile 2 weeks, is it fine to work with a full-time company, or do I need to resign, or because we are not able to process without knowing that approval notice?
So your personal options will come from the fact that at this time you're not allowed to work with that H4 EAD if you change status. And I cannot see that, or I can't say that to you till I've looked at that approval notice, which I understand you don't have, right? So my thought to you is you have to go back to that employer, one, that sponsored you for the H1B, see if they had requested a change of status in the H-1B application. Once you know they had requested it, most likely it would have been granted, and that would tell you that you at this point may no longer be allowed to work.
Oh, okay, got it. So,
All right?
yeah, thanks for your info.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555. Number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Aluwalia. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, I'm on the L1 visa, L1A. We moved here last year around July. We are Swedish citizens. I applied my wife's L to EAD from L to like a few days ago actually. And with this, rumor or either the executive order signed or not signed, do you think there could be a delay in EAD approval or not?
Yes, so the new rule, which came in on January 17th, has nothing to do with the executive order that President Trump is signing. It was CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, that made that change. And that is, at this time, there is not the processing time for the EAD has increased to 180 days from the 90 days. Okay, so this happened on January 17th, and this happened because this was an old regulation that was pending that got announced or confirmed with their 60-day notice in November of this year, and then it became the final regulation on the 17th of January. So at this point, all I can tell you is that you just have to wait. In terms of actual processing time, we're not taking 180 days. That's close to, I'd say, 120 days.
Okay, and is the L1A to green card route, is that also, vegetable, is it taking longer or still the same?
I'm sorry, did you say what did you say, sir? Could you repeat that, please?
Sure. My question was from L1A to the green card, the channel,
Yes.
is that still open?
Okay. So the L1 to the EB1C, if that's what you're asking, the EB1C does not allow premium processing. So it usually takes 8 to 9 months of processing time. That is not a government dictated delay. That is something that is just the processing time of that application.
Sure. Understood. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your call. Once again, the number in the studio, 972-235-5555. And to all our listeners, I do want to mention here that because we lost a little time right at the beginning of the segment, we will be taking more questions after the break also. So hang in there with your questions, and I'm sure you will get through very soon. 972-235-5555. Number in the studio. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hey, hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir.
My name is Anuj, and I have a question. My question is, how do I update my new passport number in USCIS records, and how do I extend my I-94 based on my new passport validity?
The only way that could be done is by either stepping out or applying for an extension.
So my passport was expiring in June of this year, and I got I-797 updated till approved till December of 2018. And I just want to so I will have to step out or apply for an extension.
Correct. So what you would do is this would be under the category of an amendment, and that would be the amendment of your stay.
Okay.
You would use the same approval notice. It would just be the base filing fee that applies to this amendment, and you would ask for the change in the I-94 or the extension of the I-94, the extension of stay here, and also provide a copy of the new passport.
Okay, and just one more question. As I recently heard, is there any reason they could deny it, or do you think they should be approving it? It should be an easy thing.
No, it's a pretty regular process. Of course, you can step out also with your 797 with your passport and re-enter. The CBP will mark it. But given given the amount of chaos that has been going on at the airports everywhere, I would just caution travel. I'm not saying no to travel, but you have an opportunity to be able to amend it to fix what the issue is, and that's fine too.
Okay, perfect. And I was even calling them CBP numbers, trying to figure out if they can give me any other route which could be easier.
No, there is not any other route. So that's the only two options.
Thank you. I really appreciate your help.
All right. Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi. So I'm a U.S. citizen and from India. I got divorced 2 years back, and I'm planning on marrying a person from India who is an Indian citizen and has a kid. So my question is, what is the process to bring her and the kid to USA legally? Should I get married in USA or in India? And is there any process that I can do right now even before getting married? Thank you.
So if you do a fiance visa, then the accompanying child, that is the dependent child of your fiance, is allowed to come in on that fiance application. So one application at that point. If it is that you get married in India, then you have to do 2 I-130s, which means you have to sponsor her and the child in 2 separate petitions. And then when the NVC time comes, also there'll be 2. So for the fiance, let's just redo this. One fiance petition and 2 NVC applications, and when they come into the country, then there would be an adjustment of status that has to be filed within 90 days of their arrival and when they get married to you. So that's the requirement for the fiance and the adjustment. Now, in terms of timelines, this is almost as long. It takes about 8-9 months for the first step, and another, I'd like to say, 8 to 9 months for getting the adjustment through and all of that. Now, with the green card, you will start with 2 green cards after only you get married, and it would be sponsoring the stepchild as well as sponsoring your wife. And then that process right now is taking about 6 months on the first step, and another about 6 months for the consular processing of the same. It's a call that you'll have to make depending on what your requirements in timeline and the cost are.
Okay, and regarding the complexity-wise, which one would be, more or less legally complex? Would be the finance visa or the fiancé visa or the other one?
No, there is not anything that I can tell you about the complexity. That equally, you have to establish the bona fide relationship in both. So I would not consider one more complex than the other. They both are hinged on your relationship with your fiancé/spouse, and you'll have to just kind of make a call as to which one in terms of timeline do you want to do.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All the best to you.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. 972-235-5555. Number in the studio. And do want you all to know, for private consultation with Pallavi, you do need to take an appointment. And for that, you must give them a call. 972-361-0606. aluvalialaw.com is their website. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi, Pallavi. I have a question about my daughter's citizenship interview, which she is going to take next month. She's 22, and I was wanting to know if I can accompany her. I'm her mother.
Yeah, so once somebody is over the age of 18, then I don't think that they are looking for a companion, even if it is a parent. It really depends on the officer whether they would allow you or not. When you're going into, so if it's somebody who is under the age of 18 or even under the age of 21, they are a little flexible. Become a little tougher going through the security when it's not your name on that petition, but you could try. That's all I can say. You can try, and it just depends on the officer at the security if they allow you in or not.
Okay, and how long does it take after the biometrics for the interview call?
Usually it depends on the background check. I'd say any time between 6 to 7 months.
6 to 7 months. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for your call. We have just about a minute left before we run into this short commercial break. So yes, do want all our listeners to know that Pallavi Ahluwalia will be here for a little longer to answer more questions live on air. So yes, if you have a questions, do keep calling us and we will for sure take your call on air right after the break. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. 30 seconds to go. Pallavi, do you have anything else that you would like to say to our listeners here?
Just that I'm looking forward to being back at 11:05 and looking forward to answer questions for the community. I think we shortchanged the time, so we'll just go on and answer questions, as many questions as we can.
Excellent. And once again, their website is ahluwalialaw.com. And for private consultation, do give them a call, 972-361-0606. And we will be right back in a jiffy. Off your radio before you ask your questions, and this is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. We will continue speaking with Pallavi, and you can ask your questions right now. 972-235-5555. Do want to welcome back Pallavi on the airwaves of Anisha Radio 104.9 FM, and thank you so much for hanging a little bit longer for our listeners here.
Of course, Meetu, glad to be here again. And if you have calls, let's start taking them, please.
Absolutely, let's do that. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
I have a question. This is regarding my I-140. I got it approved in 2014 by employer A in EB2 category. And now I'm with employer B. So do I need to get the permanent I-140 processed again? Because I heard that there's a new rule on January 17th that I can have a supplement J form or something like that.
No. So the supplement J form is only useful, number one, if you have an AC21 that you're eligible for based on a 485 that has been pending for over 6 months. So given your priority date, I know you would not have been able to file a 485 yet.
No, I don't have 485.
Right, I understand. So at this point, if you have moved to your second employer, the second employer will have to do the perm and I-140 for you and recapture the old priority date.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. Looks like we dropped that call. Call us back, 972-235-5555 number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, my question is that I'm a U.S. citizen and I want to apply for my wife for the green card. Do I need an attorney or I can do myself? And how much they have the fee for the immigration for that to do that?
So is your spouse in the country or abroad, sir?
I'm sorry?
Is your wife in the country already or is she abroad?
Yes.
Is in the country?
Yes.
Okay. And she came here with a valid visa?
Yes.
Okay. How long has it been since she entered the country?
She just came about 6 months ago and her visa is still valid.
Yeah, but the I-94 is not given for more than 6 months. So, you'll have to examine if you understand what the I-94 is about. So if somebody is present in the country, as long as within 2 months to 3 months of their entry, they don't file for an adjustment of status, they have an option to file both the I-130 and 485 within the country. Now, the understanding of immigration law and what is the requirement will depend on whether you can do it yourself or you need an attorney. All I can tell you is that you have to just be careful so that you don't get audits, and audits I use a general term for a request for evidence, and if you can handle those questions or the understanding. Now, in terms of the immigration fees, roughly to the government, it's $2,000, and every attorney has different kind of fees for the green card that you'll have to ask or call about.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All the best. Bye-bye.
All All right, thank you so much for your call. And yes, once again, do want to share the number in the studio, 972-235-5555. And we have Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices, answering all your legal questions here. So if you want to get in touch with her for private consultation, do give their team a call. 972-361-0606 is the number. ahluwalialaw.com is their website. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Yeah, I have one question. I currently have a 483 file under EB2 category, EB3 category. Is there any way that it could be turned into family-based?
No, it won't convert into a family-based case. The family-based case would have its own I-130 petition, and those don't quote in terms of dates.
Okay, so it cannot be possible.
Yeah, so you cannot quote your date. You can have a family-based case filed, but that would have the priority date of the date that the I-130 is filed and approved. But it would not transfer the older. It would not transfer the older priority date from your EB3 into the family-based case.
Okay, so the new date will be the date the file for 130 or 140?
The I-130,
new one.
yes. The date that you filed the I-130, and if it gets approved, then the date of filing becomes your priority date.
I see. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, all the best to you.
Thank you for your call. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Yes, please do try to call us back again. 972-235-5555. Number in the studio. Going on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi, I have a question about my mom. She's here 10 years. I'm sorry, in March she's going to be here 13 years. So I was wondering, somebody was telling me that for the citizenship, they don't have to take tests then. Is that true?
Yeah, she has to wait. If she's over the age of 55, then she has to wait for 15 years as a U.S. Permanent resident and to have lived in the country for her to be excused from the English language testing. That's correct. So it would be 2 more years before she's excused.
Even though she's right now 80 years old?
Yeah. So it is, the exception is 50-20. If you're over the age of 50 and 20 years a green card holder, permanent resident, or over the age of 55 and 15 years is the minimum amount that they would require to excuse the English language test.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi, my name is Ashwin. I have a question for Pallavi. I'm on H1B visa. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, nice and clear. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was with employer A, and I have my visa stamping till 2017 June, and now recently I changed to employer B. They filed my H1 transfer, and I have a new H1 till 2019. And currently I have plans to go to India in February. So do I have to go for stamping again, or can I use the same stamping and come back?
Yeah, the same visa from employer A is still valid along with the approved notice, the 797 that you have for the H1B. You would use that at the time of entry. So that CBP can ensure that you have a local identity.
Okay. So in case if I want to go for stamping again because to have the visa extended, is there any time limit, how many months before the visa expiry can I go for the stamping again?
They would allow it at least at the 3-month mark. It just depends on the discretion of the consulate. If they have a long wait, then they may not even see you until it is expiring. So a few months is safer. But if you're saying that you're almost at 5 months, then I would say maybe not. That may be a bit early.
Okay. Is there any is there any risk in like coming back in May if my visa is expiring in June?
No, you're allowed to use it. You're allowed to use it. And you just have to show your approval notice when you come in. The new approval notice.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. 972-235-5555 is a number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. Going to our next caller, Fanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Pallavi, good morning. I have a question. A friend of mine, he got married, and the girl, she was in Mumbai, and she had an interview 3 times, but she was not able to make it. So what's going to happen because she missed 3 interviews?
So she missed her interview? She did not show up?
Yes, ma'am. 3 times.
Okay, and this is a spouse of a U.S. citizen, you said?
Yes, ma'am. She got married, and he's applied for the green card.
Okay, so you may have to contact the consulate, but there is still an option to show up for the interview once more. Otherwise, they may just send the case back, and you may have to start it at the NBC.
So he has to reply.
Yeah, so you'll have to, you'll have to contact the and speak to them and see if they will reschedule.
All right. Looks like he dropped a call, but you got the information from Pallavi. So yes, moving on to our next caller, Fanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, very clear. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, Pallavi. Thanks for all the time. So the question is, I am still working with company A, and I came here on L1, and last year I got H1B. And it was a change of status for both for me and for my wife, and my kid is born here. So the question is, and I have I-94 till around November 2019. Now, since 2013 August, I have not been to India because of various reasons, So my passport got expired, so I renewed it, and a couple of more things here. So now we are planning to go right around in a couple of weeks. So is there any risk due to the current developments plus, the reason being that I have not been to India for 3 years?
Yeah, that is not, so the fact that you haven't been to India is not indicative of anything that should be held against you. CBP has been known in recent times to give people a little bit of a hard time given the stance of the government, but Indian citizens are not included in any travel ban, so I would not anticipate. I would just be prepared for a more rigorous questioning about where your employment is, and if you're at that the company's site, or if you're working somewhere else. So if you have any difference in your work site as opposed to your employer's address, then you may have concerns, and those concerns would be that they may like an authentication of from your end client at times. So it just depends on what your individual situation, on the kind of H1B that you are on currently, and that would determine the kind of questioning that you will face at the CBP. But as long as you're prepared with that and you have your offer letter from your employer, you leave your most recent pay stubs before you left the country, you should be all right.
Yeah, I'm not working for any consulting company. It is an European technology company, and they have been in the US for maybe more than 50 years. So, and I have been with this company for the last, almost 10 years. The first 5 in India, and from 2012 here in US.
Okay, so you should be all right then.
All right, Pallavi. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. Going on to our next caller, Fanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Kinnar. I am a permanent residency holder of USA. I am an Indian. I want to go for India for 1 month for attend some marriage or a function. So in this time, so many rumors over there. Some people back from India the consulate people stop him for I-407, and is this all are true or false?
Well, at the time of the ban, 407s were being given to people to give up their green card, and that was for countries that were on the list, the 7 countries that were on the list from President Trump's executive order. The CBP was misbehaving with that. Now, at this point, there has been a lot of alarm. So, if somebody were to ask you, even randomly, to sign up on something, you would say no and not, and just have them sign down. So basically, if they were to say anything like that, I would tell people, just say we have an attorney outside and I would like to consult with the attorney. So just make sure that you're able to respond to them. Those kind of anomalies were reported over the last week before there was a restraining order on the ban. And at this point, we're not hearing that, of course. I don't expect it to impact Indian citizens, but there may be a stray or rogue CBP officer that may be doing things that are not kosher. So just be aware of what you're signing.
Okay. So, means my another question is, I have any problem to pay back over USA, or it's fine?
There should not be any problem right now, sir. I mean, we're not anticipating any trouble for India. But again, you have to be aware, keep up with the news as to what's going on, and just be aware of what's happening. Now, given the fact that this executive order happened with short notice, I think unless it's something that's either pre-planned or there is some kind of emergency, I would tell people to just hang in here and not travel. But, I mean, at this point, I can't be an alarmist and tell you not to go outside the country at all, because that would just be giving into the fear that he has created.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call. My question is, my father has a green card now. He got approved in consular processing in India, and he's supposed to come in March sometime. So, do you see any problem with what's going on nowadays with the executive order and other stuff? Is there any problem or?
Yeah, this was exactly the kind of question that we had from the last caller, and the answer would be yes, there's a little bit of fear that if your father has been approved and he's planning on coming in, then he should just plan on coming in. The executive order does not include India on the list of countries that are banned, so we're not expecting anything to happen to Indian citizens at this point. However, you just have to be careful when you're coming in. If there is somebody who's bullying him or saying something, tell him to be comfortable and not to sign off on any documents without understanding it.
Okay. What happens when he comes? He has to go through one interview before he get entering the country?
Yes, he has to go through CBP, the Custom Border Protection.
CBP, okay.
Yeah.
And what usually there is the same kind of interview he did in Mumbai, that kind of things, or?
No, basically the intention and where he's coming from. So they're supposed to be vigilant so that they don't allow people that are coming into the country and that can threaten the security. So they will have their standard list of questions, of course. But at this point, there may be just some strange officers who I'm calling turning rogue, that are asking more than the questions that they're supposed to. So all I'm asking or counseling people to do is not to react or not to sign up on papers without understanding what they're saying.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answer.
All right. Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. And to get in touch with Pallavi beyond the show for private consultation, you do need to take an appointment from the front desk manager, and that number would be 972-361-0606. ahluwalialaw.com, their website. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hello. I have a question regarding the citizenship status which I applied. I had applied for citizenship on May of last year, and I did my fingerprint anything from them. So is it a concern? Should I follow up with somebody, or what should I do? If you could suggest me.
So your fingerprints happened in June, and since then you haven't been scheduled for an interview. You haven't moved addresses or anything like that, or locations, correct?
Hello?
So ma'am, you haven't moved recently?
Oh no, I haven't moved.
Okay. All right. So they may be running behind, and know that over the last few months they had slowed down incredibly over the months of December and January. So they may be catching up right now. They are quite behind, but it does take about, I'd like to say, 8 to 9 months, if not a bit longer, for the naturalization.
So if I don't hear anything by another month, should I just?
Yes, I would do an InfoPass appointment. Talk to USCIS and ask them about the delay. So they're supposed to set up an interview only after the background checks clear, and there shouldn't be an issue to clear backgrounds mostly. It should not take longer than 6 months, but if they're holding on to the application, it may just be a processing delay. But yes, if you don't hear back, then I would definitely ask you to set up an appointment with InfoPass and go there.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. You have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hey, my name is Sumit. I just had a quick question. Apart from I got my green card back in 2011 in August, and 2012. So when should I apply for my citizenship?
You're eligible at the 4-year, 9-month mark, sir. That's when your eligibility starts, from the time that you got your green card. So from the date that you have your green card, just go up 4 years, 9 months, and that's when eligibility starts.
All right, Pallavi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Miku.
Okay, I think the caller can probably still listen to you on the radio, so go ahead and complete the answer if you can.
Yeah, I did. I think there must have been a technical issue, or I went on mute maybe with you.
Okay.
Because I answered. Yeah, I did answer the question completely.
Okay, all right. Then moving on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes. I have a question. My daughter, she's a U.S. citizen. She was born here. She got married 2014, and she's in the USA now. And she wants to sponsor her husband and green card. And what is the process? What do we have to do? And how much it will be?
Yeah, so the government fees alone are about 2,000, and attorneys have different charges for it. You'll have to call and find out. Now, the process, if the person is already inside the country, would involve filing an I-130 485, or if they're abroad, then they go file an I-130 and then go through the National Visa Center.
Okay. So, you charge $2,000?
No, ma'am, I don't charge $2,000. I tell you the government fee.
Oh, okay. So, can I have your number so I can give you a call, make an appointment with you?
I would love to share her number. Pallavi's number for private consultation is 972-361-0606. AluwaliaLaw.com has a lot of information that you might want to go into. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, moving on to our next caller. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia. And Pallavi, we just have 1 minute time left, so let's make this really quick. I request our caller here. Go ahead and quickly ask your question.
Okay, I applied for citizenship with paper, and I'm still for the answer. My fingerprint, I don't know what's going on. Just want to know.
Yeah, so you said last April, so this is concerned because you're already at the 9-month mark, and they should have been able to set you up for an interview. We had another caller just now who had the same issue. They may be running behind, but I would definitely set up an InfoPass in your case and go and ask about the case.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. And that's all the time we have with Pallavi today. Thank you so much for doing an extended show today, Pallavi.
Absolutely, Neetu. Thank you so much for hosting me so well, and I look forward to being back next Wednesday.